What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're returning to the Nemesis core as we continue our coverage of Mobile Suit Gundam. We are Federation hooligans. Last time, EFF was preparing for a final push to take over California base when they were attacked by the AG and the Zogak. Yuji also saved some children from the rubble, while Zeon tries to set off nukes. This time, Yuji will save the children, while Saki and EFF will mourn the loss of the people who died during the departure ceremony. So let's get into this. Yuji makes a run for it with the children. Hawk thinks that he is bailing from the battle. Sherry was taken hostage by the old creepy men working for Zeon. She takes them to the main control base, but lets them know that you can't control the nukes from the main control room as a failsafe. They know this, but they are there for a random data drive. That is when an EFF ground team comes in and kills all but two of the men. Saki and Sherry's father, Peter Ford, follows and begins interrogating the two men. Saki wants to know how they didn't trigger their sensors in their underground bunkers. It was easy for them to get rid of the sensors, but when Saki asks about the hacking, they have no clue. Saki briefly had a conversation about the nuclear control room to Bailey earlier during the departure ceremony. It means that someone in EFF overheard this and is a mole. He asks who is the person they got their data from. This must be the real mole. The kids that Yuji saved are named Ryan and Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson, really? They say they came to the departure ceremony to see real heroes, and he is a hero. Yuji is finally getting the praise he has been looking for. They say that mobile suit pilots are the manliest men. The kids say their dad is a mobile suit pilot as well. He wonders if his dad is Philip Johnson, the Cockatrice leader. Last episode, Philip and the Cockatrice team took a beating, and Yuji believes that he might be dead. He says, yeah, we should probably find your mother. Hawk is mad Yuji went off without him. Eddie in the hover truck meets up with Hawk, and they regroup with the others. Meanwhile, the spies that Saki was interrogating pull a gun on Bailey after he explains how bad he is at commanding a base with nukes. They run off with the data file. Saki wants to know why Bailey is willing to die for this data. He tells him that this base wasn't able to decrypt Zeon communication after they took over the base. Location of bases, names of spies. All this data is available if one is able to decrypt. With this data, they certainly can end the war faster. The spy runs with the data and is eventually surrounded, but he says this mission isn't about retrieval, but destruction. He sigs at Zeon and blows himself up, along with the data and everyone on the same floor. Hawk goes in to attack the Zogak, but it begins its retreat. Saki takes all the blame for the attack. Yuji comes in with the kids looking for Philip Johnson. Saki tells him to get back to his mobile suit and focus on protecting the higher-ups. Yuji grabs Saki and tells him that he is here to protect the children, not some bastard higher-ups. Saki flashes back to the incident with his old professor before telling the world of something that might change history as they know it. The professor is shot. A riot breaks out as Saki tries to get medical help. The professor gets up and walks with his injury. Saki tries to stop him, but he says if he can't help the people here and now, then he will never be able to protect the Spacenoids. The professor died, and in that moment, everyone stopped rioting. Yuki reminded him of this moment. Colonel Bailey is being a coward and trying to blame Saki. But that is when Brigadier General Dunamo of Augusta Labs sees that Saki was doing the best with what he had. He also likes that Yuji has a backbone, but he tells him to watch how he addresses his superiors. Yuji meets with Philip Johnson's wife and gives her the bad news. Saki and Yuji are determined to seek justice. The sole surviving Zogak completes the mission and meets up with a mysterious mobile suit in the shadows. As the Zogak pilot gives his debriefing, the mysterious mobile suit snipes and destroys the Zogak. The departure ceremony was supposed to raise morale, but they are all mourning the loss of 217 people that died during the incident at Ellsworth Base. As they mourn the losses, one of Johnson's kids tells Yuji that he doesn't have to worry, and that they will protect their mother from now on. Yuji tells them that their fathers raised two brave boys. Apparently during this incident, the film director also died in action, which is apparently not true. We'll find out later. One man we rarely talk about is Doug Kyson. He is a huge man, but a gentle man. He also has said nothing for the most part and just sticks to the background. As they give a moment of silence, Yuji notices Doug with the clergy praying to his fallen comrades. He is taken aback by Doug being a religious man. He is so multifaceted but so mysterious. Hawk tells Yuji to shut up and pray. The Nemesis team heads out in the C-88 Medea. They have been informed that the Zogak that retreated during battle was found and destroyed. It seems like it was killed by friendly fire. Saki believes that since all the sensors in the underground cave were placed exclusively for the departure ceremony, it most likely means that there is a mole working on the inside. Someone in their top ranks is an informant. Yuji says to Doug, "So you're a priest?" That's neat. Doug just silently smiles and nods at him. Hawk tells him that Doug can also communicate with the dead. A woman is looking for her loved one, Kenny. Doug whispers in Tara's ear. He tells him to tell the woman that Kenny is alive and hasn't passed to the other world. Suddenly, a woman with the most awkward mole says that her mole tells her of bad premonitions. She says that Kenny is dead and that the Nemesis team gives off the essence of death. Tara points and yells Kobu, which is Japanese for mole. A Hawk says, whoa, 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 whoa. You gonna say that the premonitions of my boy Doug are wrong? This dude Doug right here. He hatched from a stone in Kentucky. At 3 years old, my man rode the Great Lakes on a lotus flower. At the age of 7, he adopted a baby. And you were trying to talk shit about Doug? Yuji says none of this could be true, right? Right? Hawk says it is time for Nemesis 48, Technique 15. Bang bang, one-on-one, spirit battle. Winner takes the smell of death away. Except Yuji, that dude reeks of death. When Hawk made Yuji steal panties, it also had a special Nemesis designation like this. Peter tells Saki the incident in Vancouver. He says that the records have been erased. As the war comes to a close, higher-ups are trying their best to protect their interests. More fighting means more money coming in to their fleet. Eddie wonders if it is Bailey. But Saki is certain that they wouldn't risk using someone that is in direct command. Saki wonders if he is still alive. Meanwhile, Mole Lady uses voodoo magic, while Doug communes with his grandfather. This episode is so unhinged. Mole Lady uses her mole to unlock her chakra and lets her speak with the spirit world. That is when Doug yells, "Grandpa, Kenny is there!" Like a madman, he runs off and gets into the gun cannon. Yuki has no idea what the hell is happening. Doug fires into an abandoned building. Out of the rubble comes a little dog named Kenny. Yuji learned something in all of this. I don't know what it was, but it was something. Saki wants to talk to one of the prisoners. He took 5 bullets and wants to talk to him while he is still alive. They don't want to let him in, but he still has command until the new commander comes tomorrow. The enemy spy is passed out. Saki begins talking to himself about the situation. He mentions the retreating soldier was taken care of, and he will die soon too. The spy wakes up, grabs his hand, and says, "What do you mean, taken care of?" Yuji is mad that this was all over a dog, but that is when Saki assembles the team and preps them for the next mission as they make their move into California base and Zeon territory. They are usually an instructor corps, but they will be thrusted into the front lines on this one. Anything could happen. At Mount Rainier in Seattle, EFF is trying to convince a small Zeon holdout to surrender. The Zeon commander is drunk and is delusionally stating that any minute now, Garma's forces will come to save them. Garma's been dead for a while now. The other Zeon soldiers are ready to give up. Half of the Nemesis team make their way to the location. Weird Mole Lady also seems to be in Seattle as well. Yuji looks over the Gao rudder that Garmazabi used during his kamikaze attempt on White Base. It is on display for EFF in Seattle. Tara is heading to Augusta to get some spare parts for the Nemesis team. Since their parts are so unique, it is easier for them to just go pick up the parts. Meanwhile, Hawk and Saki are in the Grand Canyon. They had to go to a meeting before the operation takes place, but during this meeting, they are sure they will find their informant. Saki stole the spy from the base and dressed him in an EFF uniform to help them find the mole. They tell him not to talk too much, as his Zeon accent is thick. What is a Zeon accent? They start talking shit about Yuji. Meanwhile, in Seattle, Yuji sneezes. If you don't know, it is Japanese superstition that when you sneeze, someone is probably talking to you behind your back, which is why you see this cliche in manga and anime a lot. Yuji is running tests at the Seattle testing grounds. They are monitoring his techniques to collect battle data. The techs tell him that this could potentially save lives. Yuji flashes back to the colony drop. One of the fragments of the colony hits Vancouver. Yuji was a master boxer, but after watching people die from something so devastating, he never felt so helpless. It was at that moment that Yuji decided to enlist. Hearing that this battle data is helping people, he is doing exactly what he wanted when he decided to sign up. Doug gives Yuji a special charm to protect him. The Mole Lady said ominous things the other day, so he is going to need it. He spots a Zeon craft flying around Mount Rainier. They are fleeing forces. It is only a matter of time until they surrender. The war really is coming to a close. But suddenly, a black cat crosses his path and Minovsky particle density increases. They are informed that 3 Zakus are approaching their location. Bailey is also attending the meeting at the Grand Canyon. He was demoted 1 rank for the incident at Ellsworth Base, but is now in Jaburo, so he is happy. At that moment, Saki breaks his glasses. Everyone is having the worst luck. Mole Lady was right. We see the Mole Lady cursing the Seattle team. A modified Zaku comes in and does a decent amount of damage. Yuji tries to hold him off, but a Zaku cannon comes in blasting. It distracts Doug, and another Zaku slices him in half. This is an MS-06FS Zaku 2. The MS-06FS Zaku 2 Garmazabi Custom was designed specifically for Garmazabi and is a variant of the F-type. This is designed with more close combat features and has 4 40mm Vulcans on its head. There were very few of these units made and mainly given to commanders before the creation of the S-type. Other weapons include a shoulder shield, a 120mm machine gun, a small caliber machine gun, a Hitak, and much more. The Zaku holds up Doug's gun cannon head, and he claims to be Garmazabi. Everyone is confused as Garmazabi is dead. He throws the gun cannon head back at a frustrated Yuji. And that will do it for this episode. This episode reached a new level of insanity that I don't believe exists anywhere else in Universal Century. Also, communing with the dead exists apparently, even though played for laughs. Next time, Yuji will take revenge for what they did to Doug, as the remaining Zeon survivors rally against this new Garmazabi. Also, someone tries to assassinate the spy while Saki and Hawk are at the meeting of higher-ups. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, never trust necromancers with a giant mole. Peace.